Black man sues white neighbor after being falsely accused. That's right. John Marks on the left. Okay. There he is. 40-year-old black man has filed civil rights lawsuit against the city of Manvel, Texas, and its police officers, alleging he was falsely arrested for sexually assaulting his white neighbor. The lawsuit claims that on November 9, 2023, Marks and his friend, 43-year-old Freddie Douglas Jr. in the center, had consensual sex with Amanda Zawieruszynski, white female neighbor with whom Marks had an ongoing intimate relationship with. In Marks's pool, it happened during a celebration at his new home. All right. Well, the El Campo Leader News reported Zawieruszynski, probably Zawieruszynski, filed a police report a week later claiming she was held against her will, and that both men sexually violated her or attempted to violate her over a several-hour time period that night and into the next morning. Court affidavit stated all three had been drinking and that the assaults took place with the woman saying no and having to physically fight Douglas off of her. Marks further accuses Zawieruszynski of malicious prosecution, falsely reporting to the police that she had been sexually assaulted and kidnapped by him, which led to his arrest. Prosecution caused him mental anguish, as well as damage to his personal and professional reputation. Per Atlanta Black Star, Marks was arrested December 7th, 2023, charged with aggravated sexual assault and aggravated kidnapping, felonies that can result in prison sentences from 5 to 99 years. Douglas was also arrested, fired from his job as a police detective in El Campo. Both men were jailed and later released on bond, protesting their innocence. They said, this didn't happen. How did we get here? Well, on March 23rd, grand jury for Brazoria County reviewed the evidence presented against them by the district attorney and issued a no-bill verdict declining to indict either man. Damage was done. Damage was done. But you know, when certain people talk, I guess you're supposed to listen. Of a different hue, I meant to say, okay? One woman over here happens to be white, two black men over here who said it's not true, but yeah, you have to understand, okay? Used to be that 3/5 rule, I think. I think this country was built on 3/5. In this case, I don't know, they didn't know those odds.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
So in the lawsuit filed August 21, Marks contends that Manvel police arrested him solely on the account of Zawieruszynski and without properly investigating. Imagine that. If they had, he argues, police would have seen surveillance footage from cameras in and around his home that clearly exonerated him. Yeah, he's due the money. I'm no lawyer, but I'm telling you, he's due the money. Per the complaint, the cameras captured Zawieruszynski arriving that evening with cupcakes, entering the home with no signs of distress or hesitation, looking relaxed, engaging in friendly conversation. Okay. She later undressed and willingly joined the men in the pool, appeared to be enjoying herself, engaging in consensual sexual activity with John Marks and later with Freddie Douglas. No signs of resistance or discomfort. Cameras also showed her moving freely throughout the house, multiple opportunities to get out of there. She could have left if she felt threatened or uncomfortable, including one point when she was alone in the house. Marks and Douglas were outside in the pool. Marks said he informed Officer Tanner Truitt, not pictured, we'll find him, and Police Chief Thomas Traylor pictured of the surveillance footage that contradicted the purported victim's allegations. The officers, however, failed to review the footage or to include it in their report to a judge when seeking a warrant for his arrest. The complaint alleges their conduct was driven by a desire to secure a conviction at any cost, rather than a commitment to uncovering the truth. Come on now. Marks also contends that police used excessive force during his arrest and then held him in a cold, uncomfortable cell for hours before transferring him to the Brazoria County Jail. During this time, he was denied access to legal counsel and information about the charges against him. Lawsuit further argues that his treatment in custody was part of a broader pattern of systemic abuse by the Manvel Police Department, which routinely violated the rights of those it detained. And a Black Star filling in the details. Now, the case is not an isolated incident, but reflects a time-worn pattern reminiscent of the injustices depicted in To Kill a Mockingbird, where Black men are falsely accused of sexual crimes by white women. And the machinery of law enforcement is all too willing to proceed without question, the complaint says. The arrest and sexual violation charges against Marks garnered significant media attention. Overwhelmingly negative, portraying John as a dangerous criminal. Can you imagine that? Led neighbors, colleagues, friends to distance themselves from Mark. Caused irreparable damage to his personal and professional reputation, he claims. And his complaint charges the city of Manvel with federal civil rights violations, including failure to properly investigate serious allegations, depriving Marks of his right to be free from unlawful searches, seizures, false imprisonment, excessive use of force, failure to adequately train, supervise, and discipline officers. The complaint also specifies alleged police misconduct by 3 officers. Here we go with that. Claims that Truitt made false and misleading statements to Justice of the Peace Richard B. Davis and omitted material information that, if disclosed, would have prevented the issuance of the arrest warrant. Police Chief Traylor, who participated in and witnessed the arrest of Marks, knew or was recklessly indifferent to the fact that Officer Truitt made false and misleading statements in his sworn complaint. That's like a false police report, if you will. Who's going to pay for that? Officer Ruiz, first name unknown, conducted an unwarranted search of Marks' vehicle and home without probable cause or reasonable suspicion, violation of the Fourth Amendment. Ruiz used excessive force despite no resistance during the arrest. Marks alleges and later tampered with Marks' security cameras. I was waiting to get to that. By altering the settings from 180 days to 60 days. An action aimed at destroying exculpatory evidence and obstructing justice. Yeah, this is, if proven, it's willful. Remember, we talked about the difference between a mistake and willful misconduct, okay? And this is, if this is true, it's done with malice. Why would you do that? Why would you not conduct basic investigative work here? Hey, there's a camera that'll tell you everything you need to know. Hands behind your back. Wow. Malice, willful misconduct. Again, I'm not anything to do with the bar. I have no training. I've covered a lot of cases, though. And I know what I smell. Trailer, Manvel Police Department, and Brazoria County District Attorney Tom Selleck on the right all declined requests from Atlanta Black Star to comment on the criminal proceedings and the civil lawsuit. But why wouldn't you comment, guys? Remember, there was all of this pre-trial publicity. He was painted as a nasty sexual offender, and his friend who used to wear a uniform. So why aren't you commenting now? And you commented when you took him into custody. You got the story out then. It's just a question. After the grand jury, which had reviewed the surveillance video, declined to indict Marks and Douglas in March, the 2 men appeared at a press conference with civil rights activists. You have to fight fire with fire. You have to step before the cameras. That's what they did. It's beautiful. Sad, though. They denounced the Manvel police for racist and corrupt practices and Zawieruszynski for allegedly making false claims of sexual assault. Boy, the history of that in this country. The history of that. Emmett Till, we see you. So many others. Iris Bay, president of the Brazoria County NAACP, said, from 2024 back to the days of Emmett Till, Black men are still having to defend their life versus white tears. Oof. I often thought that these tears must have superpower. They must. If I were a white woman, I may cry tears into like an airtight bottle. I'd put it on real tight and sell it. I sell it on eBay because that stuff is powerful. These ain't no regular brown girl tears. When a white woman cries when she's offended or suddenly, oh my goodness, monster. I'm going to talk to you if I don't want to. I think you're goofy. And I think you're fraudulent. And that's what we're looking at here, perhaps. White tears. Turning to Mark, she said that audio and video saved your life. Without it, Brazoria County would have nailed your ass to the cross. Why in 2024 are we still fighting against white fragility? I'd say it goes further. White corruption, white violence against Black bodies, and yes, white tears. Baby, everybody, if you can afford it, get you a couple cameras. And some of them need to be hidden, apparently, from Brazoria County, and the police don't tell them about it. Just wait. You have to wait. You get a lawyer. Tell your lawyer. Get in there and secure the footage before they try to delete it. Mark seeks a jury and all available relief from the court, against all of the defendants for the alleged constitutional violations, including compensatory, punitive, exemplary damages, lost wages, diminished earning capacity, medical expenses, including psychological counseling and therapy, loss of professional opportunities, and loss of standing in the community, social ostracism, damage to personal relationships. I think that's, well, it's priceless, first of all. You can't get that back when someone's lied on you, but you can fight back. By the way, the universe has a great balancing act, I like to believe. What you think you're getting away with today, he's still here. I'm still here, baby. You're not going to get away with it. Somehow, some way. Otherwise, boy, as bad as it is now, we'd be doomed for good. Sick. And I sense conspiracy, right? You can't do this kind of thing. If it's true, you can't obstruct like this in a vacuum. You need help. You need perhaps others to be complicit in your white tears, your obstruction. You're changing the recording device on the camera from 180 days, half a year, to 2 months, 60 days. He said the chief was right there. What is the chief doing there anyway? Making an arrest. Sickos. You're sick.